Hi folks, and welcome to Contract Law. My name is AJ George and I'll be your unit coordinator for term 1 of 2021. This little introductory video is just designed to give you some basic information about the unit and the first couple of weeks so that you can go forth and conquer the Moodle website with a little more confidence, hopefully. Here's a little prezi that I have prepared for us, and we'll jump in and first off, do some introductions. As I said, my name's AJ. I've been listed for university for about 5 years now. If you wish to know more about me, you can have a look at the Learning Community tile on Moodle, and it has my bio there and my teaching philosophy also. But more importantly, let's get down to tin tacks. What about the unit administrative stuff that you need to know? Firstly, I'm all about connection, so please do make sure that you jump onto the various platforms that are available for you to be connected with me and your peers, and that includes the Moodle discussion forums and also Microsoft Teams, but more about that in just a moment. Let's cut to the chase a little bit. Hopefully you've got the prescribed text all organised. If not, that's it. It's Stephen Law, an introduction to the law of contract. You need to get that little baby before week 2, I would suggest, because there is already readings that you'll need to do for week 1. And if you need to access it in the library, you can do so. There are, I think, 3 licenses available for the ebook version of the prescribed textbook, so that's an alternative for you if you need that. Looking next at the first couple of weeks, the way that we'll run the first couple of weeks are skills building weeks. And so what I get you to do is jump onto Moodle, and you'll see on the left hand side there, that's what you will do for week 1. So you can see the tile there, skills building resources. You'll need to click on that, and underneath that it'll drop down and it will look like what I've reproduced for you there underneath skills building resources, and underneath the label week 1 skills building material and activities. That is the stuff that you'll need to wrestle with for week 1 skills building. And then the I was going to say more serious, but perhaps the more interesting part of the week 1 scenario will be your engagement with the patterns and text that I've got for you on Moodle. There's a PDF there that you need to read for that, and that sets out some foundational contract law theory that you'll need to know about. So at the end of week 1, you will need to have done your skills building stuff, and you will also need to have done your theory reading stuff, which is contained under the 01 tile week 1 theory on Moodle. At the end of the skills building work, you'll see at the very bottom there, there are some skills building tasks that you'll need to do before the first tutorial. And also when you click on the week 1 tile, there are some theory related tasks that you'll need to have done before the first tutorial, because we'll be discussing that stuff in the first tutorial. In terms of week 2, more of the same. You'll need to do some more skills building, and you'll see I've shown you what's underneath the second week's skills building tile there. And as well as that, once you've finished the week 2 skills building task, at the end of all that, you need to jump into what will be, yay, our first substantive week on legal knowledge, legal topic knowledge, and that will be intention to create legal relations. And if you click on the week 2 tile, you'll see the resources that you need to engage with for that. So for the first 2 weeks, you'll have 2 items on your agenda each week. The skills building and the substantive work that you need to do, firstly in relation to theory and secondly in relation to intention to create legal relations. All of this, you're thinking, how long is that going to take? This is a 6 credit point unit, so you are expected to spend about 12.5 hours per week wrapping your minds around all of the wonderful joy that is contract law. So that is the first couple of weeks worth of work. In the middle here, I've just basically given you the weekly schedule that you'll need to follow for term. So I would strongly suggest that you approach it like this. You read your study guide first, because that'll give you a good bird's eye overview of what you need to know for the week. All of the study guides are somewhere between 15 and 25 roughly pages to read. And that will give you a decent kind of high level understanding of that week's topic. Then I would suggest that you have a look at the videos, because the videos will help you flesh out your understanding from the study guide, give you a little bit more depth. I explain some of the cases in more detail, my take on some of the cases, and that kind of thing. So you need to work your way through the videos. Most of them are around about, most weeks vary, but around about 1 to 1.5 hours worth of videos. There are a couple of weeks that are quite challenging, and there is one week in particular that has probably 2.5 or 3 hours worth of videos that you need to get through. That's week 7. So I would suggest that you start planning in week 6 and start reading and engaging with the resources for week 7 a little early, because the week 6 readings are a bit lighter. So that's about the only kind of speed bump that we have in terms of engagement with materials. After you watch the videos each week, then you need to read the text. And the text routinely is around about 50 odd pages to read. Then what you need to do is tackle your tutorial questions for that week. You need to turn up to the tutorial, hopefully, and have a chat with me. Come prepared with any curly questions that you've got for me. And also, don't forget, once you have gotten your assignment, you need to start chipping away at your assignments. And that segues very nicely into a discussion on the assessments in the unit. So the first assessment is just a little online quiz, 10 questions, 1 mark each, due in week 5, at the end of week 5, as you can see. And that one has a 2-hour time limit, so you need to make sure that when you jump in, you're comfortable that you're going to be able to complete the work within the 2-hour time limit. You can't stop it, you can't pause it and get out and go back in. So once you've started that quiz, you need to finish it. So I would strongly recommend don't starting it until you're comfortable with all of the work from weeks 1 to 4 that quiz will cover. The second piece of assessment is a written piece of assessment, around about 1,750 words. That one is worth 30%, and you'll need to answer a problem question. So it's a legal problem question that you will be required to provide advice on. That one's due in week 8, Tuesday the 4th of May. 6 p.m. is the deadline for that one. The third one is another little quiz. Again, same deal as the first one, 2-hour time limit. You can't stop the clock. You need to be able to go in and actually start and complete the quiz all in one go. During week 10, Friday the 11th of June at 9 p.m. is the cutoff date there. The fourth one is a reflective practice assignment, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in the first tutorial. But it's basically designed to get you interacting with your peers and interacting with me. Again, just a little 10%, but it's really useful to reflect on exactly what it is that you've done in the term at the end of term. And that's why it's not due until the very, very end of term. Week 12, Tuesday, the 1st of June at 6 p.m. is the deadline on that one. The last assessment is the take-home exam. That one's 40%. It'll be in the exam week, but the exam people are still scheduling things, so I'm not quite sure what the actual date will be. You'll be advised closer to the date there. So that's assessments for you, and that's kind of the unit administrative stuff. I did want to take just a moment to spruik for you, put in a plug for Microsoft Teams. I'm a real Teams devotee. I was previously very, very active on social media, and I used to run Facebook groups for all my contract law classes. However, I did find that there was quite a number of students that didn't feel comfortable with the level of privacy that you get on Facebook. And the great thing about Teams is that you can connect with me, you can connect with your peers, you can have a good old chat, just like if it is on Facebook, but you have all of the added security of being on a university platform and far less of the privacy worries that you might get elsewhere on social media. I've just given you a little screenshot there. That's the Contract B Teams website that I had for T3 of 2020. You'll see a little smiley icon, pretty much just the same as that one for term 1. So look out for that. I think the Teams buttons pops up on your Moodle page in week 1, and you'll be automatically subscribed to that. So all you have to do is jump onto the Moodle page and you can access Teams. There's a button on, if you're on a PC, the button is on your right-hand side. And you just get directly from the Moodle page into Teams. We can start having a chat there. There's a really good couple of things about it. It does have the look and feel of social media, which is nice because you've got all your emoticons there and so forth. And it's obviously quite an immediate form of communication, which is also great when you need an answer to something. I'm sure there'll be 10, 20, 30 other people thinking the same kind of question as yourself. If you pop it up on Teams, everyone gets the benefit of my answer. The other thing is, in terms of your learning journey, it's much better not to be a so-called lone ranger. Slaving away on your own, not feeling like you have a network of study buddies there. You will need to do group work during your bachelor's degree. Not in this unit, but certainly in other units in the law degree. So what better way to start your university career off by networking? And that's the best way, is through Teams. So that's my little plug there for Teams. Go ahead, and there's a little icebreaker activity already on Moodle for you. So jump in and post away, chat early, chat often is my motto. So that's Microsoft Teams. And that's kind of the administrative stuff. In terms of the interesting stuff, well, I think it's interesting. The unit layout is in your week 1 study guide. As you'll see, the first 2 weeks there, we have skills building as well as the substantive topic knowledge there. Then after we've done intention to create legal relations in week 3, we turn to capacity to contract. And that involves looking at all of the various issues that are associated with people that may have a reduced capacity to contract, so minors, young people, and other people under a disability, mentally disabled, or alcoholics, or drug affected, and so forth. We get to look at capacity. Week 4 is offer and acceptance, and these two, you will remember these for years to come, I hope you do. And offer and acceptance are the first of what I call the holy trilogy of the 3 fundamentals that lie at the heart of contract law: offer, acceptance, and consideration, which is week 5. So weeks 4 and 5 are really the heart of contract formation. Estoppel's a funny little quirky equitable doctrine, actually, which is why you need to read chapters 1 and 2 of GRAW in the first couple of weeks. That will tell you a little bit about equity law. This obviously isn't the unit called equity, but equity does cut across principles of contract law at several places in our unit, so you need to have a kind of preliminary understanding of equity. So that'll be your first stoush with equitable doctrines there as Estoppel. Week 6, we have a look at Prudy, which is kind of it's a light week, and that's why I say in week 6, please make sure that you start looking at the content for week 7, because week 7 is a roller coaster, rocky road of a ride. So we look at content and construction, terms, exemptions and exclusions, and there is a whole lot of stuff there that you need to know. So do try and get a wriggle on in week 6, get through your privacy readings to make sure that you get onto the week 7 stuff in a good time. Week 8 then. Now this is kind of the big dividing line in our unit. The first half up to week 8 is really what used to be in the old contract A, and I still call it contract part A because it deals with formation of contracts. Part B deals with all of the interesting ways that a contract can go wrong, and that's where lawyers make their money, folks. So in week 8, we start our journey looking at vitiating factors. These are the factors that render a contract vulnerable to being set aside or terminated. So we look at illegal contracts and mistake. We should have flipped that around. We look at illegal contracts first, then we look at mistake. The week later, we look at misrepresentation and misleading or deceptive conduct. So sneakiness is all about week 9. Week 10, we look at 3 factors. I call them the V3: duress, undue influence, and unconscionable conduct. Again, more naughtiness there. All sorts of good case law in store for you in that week. And the last 2 weeks round out the unit with a discussion of how contracts are discharged. So when things have really gone wrong, how they can be terminated. And in the final week, we look at remedies, all of the loot that your client can claim when things have gone wrong. So that is contract law in a nutshell. And if you have any queries or questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. There is my email address there. It's also up on Moodle. Otherwise, chat to me on Teams. And other than that,
Io Silver, away! Don't ever do that again.
I hope to catch you in class sometime soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.